Hey guys, Ethan Baylor here. Hope you're all having a phenomenal day. Now in this video what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the exact strategy we use to scale skincare brands to multi 6 figures, 7 figures a year. The exact kind of few little things that you can master early on, your skincare brand's going to go really far. It revolves around consumer psychology and how your consumer actually thinks and kind of tailoring your ad to a specific identity or market. All will be explained in this video. Find it useful, hit the notification bell, like, subscribe, whatever. Let's get into it. So just for proof of concept, case studies here, you can see here, there's numerous before and afters here of how we took brands from, some with kind of 3x, 4x, 5x, 6x, whatever. If you want to check these out, feel free to go to distinctmedia.co.uk/case/studies. And this one here, we scaled from 10 to 160k in 14 months. There's a longer video on this if you want to check this out. But in this video, I'm just going to basically break down the exact kind of aspect we use to niche down to kind of maximize the market and get a lot of sales and scale brands. So first things first, you need to understand how your consumer thinks. So obviously, they're all thinking, dry eye, dry skin, bags under the eyes, etc. But the main thing to understand is that your consumer is either going to be on a routine or they're not going to be on a routine. Now, let's tailor this specifically to women's skincare because that was the type of brand we work with. Now, women's skincare, most are on a routine. I'd probably say about between 80 to 90%. How do I know this? Because I did the market research prior to when we signed the client, and that's how we managed to get phenomenal results because everything starts with market research. So most are on a routine, okay? There are 10, maybe 15% of the push who aren't on a routine, but we want to focus on one specific market and tailor ads to them. Now, those that are on a routine splits even further. So you've got those who literally use everything. So those that use like serums, those that use moisturizer, those use charcoal, cleansers, exfoliators, drops, moisturizer, whatever. And then you've got those who maybe just use 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Now, based on our market research from our specific consumer kind of avatar, most were on a routine and most were using everything. So we want to tailor our ads to them. Now, why? Now, when you see skincare ads these days, they're all more or less the same. You'll see loads of UGC ads that'll be like, oh, have you got bags under your eyes? Have you got dry skin? All these are just so repetitive. The consumer knows it's an ad straight away. They're not really going to clock onto it and they're probably just going to ignore it. And that's why a lot of brands don't do well because they just copy each other. They go in the Facebook ads library of their competitor. They'll see an ad that's titled, do you have dry skin? And they'll just copy that. That's why a lot of people struggle with that. You need to be a bit more innovative with your thinking. So this is exactly what we did here. So we analyze the market. These are your 2 people. Then we go even further, every. Now, this consumer is probably going to be one of your hardest type of consumers to convert because if they're using every single product they could possibly use for their skin and they're in a different type of market, so a different type of customer for a different business like your competitor, it's going to be very hard to convert. However, because they're hard to convert, there's going to be a very low competition in terms of those trying to create the ads to make them switch from their current routine to yours. Okay, it's a very difficult task to do, and that will basically mean that people won't be able to do it because, like I said, people go too broad and they'll target, like for example, in one campaign they'll have ads that kind of they'll target. The first test one will be targeting those that are on a routine, not on a routine. Those that only use moisturizer, those that use everything. Straight away, and that's 4 different variables there, 4 different markets. What we do is we focus on one specific market first, master that, kind of like get as many customers from that and then go on to a new one. For example, routine using everything, then we'll go to routine not using everything, then people are on a routine. That way everything's structured in place. Whereas if you start everything at once, it's going to take so long for you to get anywhere. You're going to be in a testing phase for 3 times the length. It's just better to pick one specific customer and go after them. That's what we did with these ads. So routine, everything. Like I said, this will be very hard consumer to convert because again, they're already satisfied with the product. They may not be, but on the looking at them, they may be satisfied with the product. So it's going to be hard to convert. So how do you convert them? So we had kind of 3 primary ads that we created. First, we had our us versus them. I'm sure you've heard this type of ad before. However, we went a little bit step further. So in us versus them, people use you compare your product to your competitors. Okay. Now, it's a very good style of ad, but people overuse it and don't use it correctly. So they'll go, why should choose us? Okay, we're eco-friendly. We can eliminate this. We can eliminate that. Things like that. And, people aren't really interested in that. And that's kind of great noise. So you got to think, firstly, what does my consumer actually want? Not what you think they want. What do they actually want? Now, looking at us versus them, they want results fast. Okay, so you want to prove your superiority. I know that sounds super, but you want to kind of prove your superiority. Okay, so in the us, you want to list your unique features and your mechanism. For example, if you can get results, if you have a unique formula, list that. If you can get results and guarantee them in a certain time frame, list that. If you have a guarantee, list that. If you have a specific ingredient that is kind of rolled around your product, like there's a New Zealand company that uses like some special type of bee honey, list it. Okay, you need to really prove your superiority here, because the skincare space is so saturated. There's so many brands out there. Most just do the exact same thing. Some obviously are first to market and earliest to market, and others that's why they do so well. But ideally, most of the businesses are exactly the same. This is where you want to prove your superiority. Now, mechanism. Okay, so how do they use the product? So you want to go kind of like, okay, simple, it's convenient, it's fast. Show it in the image. Like, you know, you want to split it down the middle, just have us versus them, have bullet points underneath, and that's how you want to kind of do it. Now, that is one ad idea that we ran and absolutely killed it. And to be honest, it worked for ages. We had no problems with it. It just kept working. Is all we kept doing is creating variations of it, and that kind of structure worked. Now, this can be really controversial to most media buyers who are watching this, because at the end of the day, you know, different ads work for different type of consumers and different brands. So what we did here was we created something called a desire ad. Now, not a lot of people run this type of ad, and it's basically an ad of who your consumers aspires to be, or something they really want. So we had loads of women in like a bathtub in kind of swimsuits, and we made sure you only target female for this, as the data can get messy otherwise. And we had them all looking at having fun, amazing skin, things like that. Literally a very simple image. And then at the front on the actual the bathtub like edge, there was like the product box, and we put shadow behind it and made it stand out a little bit. That was basically the image. The reason we call it desire ad is because desire / identity ad is, what does the consumer actually want? They want perfect skin, so they can have that maybe amazing body, so they can be more confident, so they can feel better looking, so they can achieve more in life. That type of desire behind it. So that's what worked here. Simple. About 4 or 5 women in swimsuits with amazing skin in a bathtub, messing around, having fun, happy, enjoying life with the product in the beginning, in the front of the bathtub. Sorry, and that was that ad. Okay. Now a lot of people go, "How is that an ad? That's not going to do anything. You're just showing, you know, blah, blah, blah." It's the psychology behind it. Yes, it is just a picture of people in the bathtub. However, it's who the consumer aspires to be, the identity behind it. Who are they comparing themselves? If the gap between who they want to be and who they are now needs to be your product. So they need to, if they have like dry skin, you know, they may be insecure. You want to focus on kind of the emotions really within the market, rather than, you know, the want stuff. Just focus more on the emotions. So they're very insecure with their skin, and then they want to be secure, they want to be confident, and they want to have, you know, look in, get attention, whatever. So that's their journey. Now in the middle needs to be your product. Your product is the bridge between where they are now and where they want to be, and your product needs to get them there. But they don't just want to get them there, they need to get them there fast, get them there with amazing results, get it there as easy as possible. That is the aspect there. Okay, so that's what your product needs to be. And those versus them and desire ad work very well. Now our last ad, now this will probably trigger some more media buyers, was very simple. This was literally just an image of the product, but a lot of the marketing was on the copy. So let me explain. So we knew that a lot of women who use this like to go to the beach. You know, in the US, around California, there's lots of beaches. That's where they like to go. So what we did is we produced an ad that basically had the product on the beach with this scene in the background. That was basically it. That was the image. Now, so this was basically an achievement ad. There. So what they actually achieved. So the product was basically on the actual sand. Very simple image, and the copy was where the marketing was done, because we just basically we listed all the problems in their type of language. We were like, oh, you know, wrinkles, dry skin absolutely suck. It leads to this, it leads to that. It makes you so insecure. You're afraid to go out. You know, you're afraid to do this. It really affects you mentally. Blah blah blah. and we typed out. It's very important when you put the images, you need to have long copy. When you do videos, you have short copy. So in this ad, we had a very, very long copy, and that was basically what it went through. So they were the 3 ads we ran for literally people who were on a routine, people who used every product. And the beauty of this was once we actually mastered this within about 1 or 2 weeks, we ended up getting a lot of sales, because what happened was, as I mentioned earlier, there was a very, very low competition, because people were like, oh, that's going to require so much market research. That's going to require so much work. Why can't you just do it to everyone? You can, but you're going to get average results. You put average effort in, you get average results out. Put a lot of effort in, you get a lot of results out. This is what we did. So our market, simple, people who are on a routine, people who used everything, us versus them, a desire ad, an achievement ad. We also had an authority ad and proving why our product was better than everybody else's, like number 1 in the US. And before and afters work well. In case you want to, some more, if you want to write this down. So you got before and after. You can have a testimonial ad. You can have an authority ad. These work really well. Just be careful with the before and after ad. You don't put any false claims in, because that's going to really affect your Facebook ad account health, and you're going to break policies. And if Facebook support is awful, so if you do lose it, you're probably not going to get it back. But that was basically it. And then once we mastered people who were on a routine using every product, and then we ran basically these 6 different type of ads, we then decided to go and touch another market. For example, people who are on a routine but only using 1 or 2 different type products. Or then after we mastered that, we then went on to people who are not using a routine. So ads like Get Ready With Me, ads, unboxing ads, things like that. Now there's different ads. Yes, you could use some of these type of ads for different types of, identity / market, but here, these ads work the best for here. So the main thing I'm trying to break down here is when you create your ads, find one group of people you're going after. People who are on a routine using every product, for example. That is your first group. What do they want to be? Who do they want to become? Then the problems they're facing. Then how your product can solve that. Then list the mechanism and the unique feature. And that is basically going to be one ad. Times that ad by 3 or 6. Well, there was 6 here because we were scaling, but 3. And then they test them 3. And that's basically the idea behind it. Now, this kind of, I wouldn't really call it a psychology trick, because it just relies on market research. Allowed us to get absolutely insane results here, before and after. Crazy. Brands that we'd literally taken, you can see here, from like 6K to 17K a month, 8K to 22, 3 to 16, and this one here, 10 to 160K per month, all by understanding this type of concept here. And then once we mastered this market, went on to another one, and another one. So that is basically the psychology concept we did to manage to scale a brand to multi-six figures per month, multi-six figures a year, or 7 figures per year. This video is kind of tailored more to women's skincare. I'll record another one on men's skincare later on, but this is specifically tailored to women's skincare. The whole idea behind this was basically to understand your consumer research, understand the specific type of market, go after that group in the market first, and then move on to a new one, rather than going kind of broad, just go specific. Again, I hope you found this video useful. Feel free to subscribe, notification bell, like, whatever. Drop a comment if you found this useful. If you want me to run your ads, go in the description below where it says have Ethan Bailey run my ad. Click the link there, schedule a quick 10-15 minute chat with me. We'll have a very, very brief discussion, see if you're a good fit for us on our neurological configuration framework. And that is basically everything. Make sure you've got notification bell turned on, because I post every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And I hope you have a phenomenal weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.